Hi, everyone. There have been a lot of teachers who've been wondering what is the difference between the old and new editions AIM kits. So I've created this video just to give you an idea of the major components of the new edition kits and how they differ from those older versions. You'll find a kit comparison checklist on our website that lists in very concise format the difference between those versions that were pre 2017, the ones that perhaps you had starting in 2004, 2005, 2006, right up to 2012. Those are the old editions. The new editions were created as of 2017 and have been created up to, and we continue to create them up to the present time. So if you'd like to find this kit comparison checklist, you can go to our website here, and in the store under shop, you can look at French products, slide over to all French kits and click on all French kits. Then once you're on that page where you see all of our French kits, and you'll see the ones that are actually identified as new editions there, you can also check out that kit comparison checklist by clicking on the little link that says here in green. So I'll begin by talking about the difference between the old edition's teacher's guide or whole class activities book, as we call them, and the new. The teacher's guide in the new editions has been completely updated in terms of aspects of layout and certainly content as well. What we've included in the new editions is something that we found really helps teachers understand the flow, the intended flow of all of the whole class activities and partner group activities and how they are interlinked and how and when to introduce various entry routines, how to rotate through the entry routines, how many times to repeat certain whole class activities, how long each should be, as well as when to introduce the partner group activities associated with those whole class activities, and how long we should invite students to spend on those partner group activities. In addition, we also talk about our leaving routines and how to rotate through those as well. So we have icons in each of the 85 lessons in our 85 lesson plan stream. So these are examples of the lessons that you will find in the new 85 lesson stream provided for you. This lesson stream will be very helpful to beginning teachers, and also will help teachers who perhaps haven't found the success yet with AIM that is possible and need a little bit of guidance in terms of how to meld those whole class activities with the partner group activities and how to create a flow for that 50-hour kit. Options for design your own lessons. So peppered throughout those 85 lessons, of course, we encourage you to what we used to call pad your lessons with activities that your students really enjoy, activities that you feel they really need to repeat and reinforce. And also, of course, later on, I'm going to be talking about our brand new assessment books, our CFR activities books, and you can use those activities from those books as part of your design your own lessons as well. So here we have a few more just to show you how sometimes we suggest that you focus a great amount of time, especially when you're in oral retelling, written retelling, on your creative activities. These are key to the success of AIM, and this is highlighted in the new kits. So at the very beginning of the new edition teacher's guide, you'll find a page that shows and describes every aspect of the contents of your kit. In the new edition teacher's guides, we also include an enhanced focus on metacognition and how to increase a focus on metacognition with your students with specific concrete examples. We also show you something that teachers didn't quite understand and something that's very important, how to use the play as a starting point to help students take the language out into real life. So we call this riffing. So we take a question and we help students to expand upon their ability to talk about a subject from the play, extending out into some authentic or real life scenario. It also helps to personalize the play for the students. Because the new editions, step 1 and 2 kits have now been approved by the Ontario Ministry and are Trillium listed, we of course make sure that in every new edition kit, we also have the links to the Ontario curriculum in every activity. And the entire whole class activities book was completely redesigned. Things were pulled apart and put back together again in a different fashion. For example, in some cases, the activities were reordered, put in a different order based on what seemed to work a little better. The activities, a number of them were rewritten. Some were shortened, some were lengthened, some were rewritten in terms of the description of the activity to make it a bit clearer. In addition, of course, we've added some new activities to the teacher's guide. And we also brought down from higher step kits some activities that were in older kits introduced a bit later, but we found that students would greatly benefit from having these activities introduced a bit earlier. Some of the examples of some of the new things that we have added to these new edition kits are we've established a focus on developing success criteria. We've greatly increased an emphasis on work with descriptive vocabulary through activities such as décrit l'image et fait un dessin, activities that students absolutely love, as well as the simpler qu'est-ce que tu vois dans l'image. We have brought down an earlier introduction to the activity called Corrige les erreurs, which is also very popular among students and allows for a stronger focus on an awareness of the editing process. We've also brought in the activity Complète la phrase, which is a fast-paced vocabulary building activity, Les mots qui vont ensemble, and les contraires, also a greater emphasis on those activities as well. In addition, we brought down from higher step kits the activity called Writing a Class Rap. Something that I'm really happy to say we've included in our kits now are the many student sample story retellings and extensions. Because these activities are the most important AIM activities in every kit, starting in step 1 for proficiency development, I felt it was absolutely essential that teachers have the opportunity to see sample story retellings and at different levels as well. So what does a level 4 look like? What does a level 3 or 2 or 1 story look like by students who are at those appropriate step kits? So some examples are here from some of the story retellings and extensions that you'll find at the back of your kits. Now, this one here is an example of actually the book publishing story extension that some of my students completed a few years ago. And these are done, as you can see, on the sample book publishing pages that are also included in your kit. In addition to the teacher's guide, we've also updated the partner group activities book. Some of the activities have been reworked as well and are presented in a slightly different format. For example, the drawing and illustration pages, in some cases, the squares for the drawings are a little smaller so we can fit a few more sentences on each page, make it a little more concise. We don't always have the students write now. Sometimes we ask the students only to do oral activities. Having students work on the same activities that used to appear only in written format, now in oral format, allows for a greater increase in focus on oral language development in partner activities, and also allows for a greater number of activities to be presented, given that, of course, the oral activities can be completed much more quickly. It also allows us to include activities that we didn't include in the older, outdated kits, such as Je pense, je critique, as well as all of the activities in the brand new assessment activities books and also in the CEFR activities books. I want to make it really clear that just like with our older editions, the core aspect to the kit is found in the teacher's guide and the partner group activities book. Those are the activities, especially for the beginning teacher, that should be the major focus of the kit and maybe all that teachers complete. And that's, of course, absolutely fine. Now, if you have students who are a little stronger than others and you like to differentiate, offer more challenging activities, if you would have students from former immersion classes or even francophone students, these two new books will allow for additional activities as well. And as you become a more experienced AIM teacher, you can begin to include these activities as well as you learn more about the methodology and implement it in a more perhaps efficient way, so you have a little more time. The assessment activities book contains a bank of activities, assessment for learning, assessment of learning, and assessment as learning. And by a bank of activities, what I mean is that certainly we're not expecting that teachers will offer all of these activities to students each and every time they do the kit. It's important to pick and choose activities that you feel are important for your particular students, and you may not want to give the same activities to the same students. So really it's up to you as a professional to decide which activities you would like to use with your students. But we do have specific times throughout the kit in which we recommend to implement these activities based on what we feel your students should have achieved by any moment in that kit. We have student self-assessments, so that involve can-do statements. Of course, everything's in French because AIM is an immersion approach and everything we do with our students is in French, but we make them manageable for students. They include the pared down language, easy to read and understand vocabulary where students self-rate their abilities in every single partner group activity. We have parent assessments. So parents also have input on students' achievements. The Portfolio de Langue, which is included in its entirety in the Step 1 New Edition kit, is something that will follow the students throughout their career with their French language acquisition. And it includes Ma biographie, mon dossier, mon passeport for teachers to use as they wish. It includes the descriptors that are based very closely on the CEFR proficiency levels. Our assessment activities book also extends out beyond assessment activities solely based on activities relating to the story or that particular kit and its pared down language. We also have DELF style assessments that examine students' overall proficiency development in oral comprehension, oral production, oral interaction, written comprehension, and written production. These are a bank of activities from which you may choose for your students. As I mentioned, we also have a CRF Activities book. These are short, discrete activities that start out from the play and extend out into more real life scenarios. So we have such things as interacting in conversations, interacting in transactions, writing correspondence, journal writing, writing texts and emails, and so on. So they're very short activities that, again, from which you may pick and choose for your students depending on their proficiency level and how appropriate you feel these activities or games might be for your class. So just some examples here. At the very end, we also have some role play opportunities. These can be used also as tests or as fun activities for your students as they develop higher levels of proficiency and are able to carry out such activities. Our AIM portal now comes with every single new edition kit. It's a wonderful resource for teachers that replaces the discs that we used to include in our more outdated kits. And it allows both students and teachers to access all of the digital materials. So this is an example of what your one kit platform would look like. In each kit, you'll have 4 categories. You will find les chansons, you'll find les histoires, you'll find les vidéos, and then also more vidéos with les classes en action, which is a series of instructional videos that you may look through at your leisure to help improve your understanding of the methodology. So under the chanson category, you will find projectable posters and the audio with both the vocals and instrumental alone. So you can sing with your students and have them read the poster as well. If you also would like to show the same song or rap or view the videos as well, you can see all of those under video. And then when you click under Histoire, you will be able to project the big book, e-reader of your story. It can be read aloud with highlighted text in class. We don't really recommend that. That's more for students to review at home. But of course, it is an alternate model for the audio as well. We also have in our new French immersion kit, La Poule Ma Boule and Le Petit Chat qui cherche une famille, coming out in late spring 2021. We have a couple of additional resources just for immersion teachers, 2 teachers' guides, one for teachers to understand how to implement AIM in an immersion classroom in other subject areas. You have the basic core kit, but in addition, you have an online interactive teacher's guide with embedded videos and images to help you understand how to take AIM out into other subject areas such as math, science, social studies, art, and so on. In addition, there is also another teacher's guide that allows you to get some lovely ideas for routines in your immersion classroom. Also on this immersion portal, you are provided with a series of lovely little e-readers, both easy to read and read aloud readers for your immersion students that link to the theme La Poule Ma Boule. So, merci beaucoup tout le monde. I hope that you found this to be interesting and have learned about what is contained in our new editions kits. And should you decide to access those new edition kits, we do hope that you'll find lots of new ideas and a much better understanding of AIM. Thanks for listening.